Hi, let's talk about death. Specifically the one everyone keeps warning me about. Because ever since I started Mounjaro, I have been informed by the internet that I am absolutely, definitely, imminently going to die from side effects, from my pancreas, from my gallbladder, from vibes. And listen, I love a good panic as much as the next anxious person. But I need to clear something up. When people say, Mounjaro is dangerous, what they usually mean is, I am uncomfortable with medication, but I am very comfortable ignoring obesity. So let's do something wild. Let's compare risks, actual risks, backed by science, not vibes. First, Mounjaro. Mounjaro is a GLP-1 and GIP receptor agonist. It works by regulating appetite hormones, slowing gastric emptying, and improving insulin sensitivity. The most common side effects are gastrointestinal, nausea, diarrhea, constipation, reflux. All things your body already does for free if it feels like it. Serious side effects do exist. They are rare. They are monitored. They are listed clearly. And they are studied extensively. After extensively watching the news coverage around Mounjaro, Ozempic, and GLP-1 medications in general, something becomes very obvious very quickly. The framing. Headlines aren't saying, millions take Mounjaro safely. They're saying, deaths linked to weight loss jab, not caused by, linked to, associated with. And that wording matters, because linked to can mean almost anything. It's like saying my sister is a serial killer, and therefore I'm linked to her. I didn't murder anyone. I'm not a serial killer. I just share DNA and occasionally a group chat. That's what associated with does. It sounds dramatic, but it proves absolutely nothing on its own. Linked to simply means the person had taken the medication at some point before their death. It does not mean the medication caused it. In pharmacovigilance, any death following any medication is logged while investigations happen. It's a bit like the COVID statistics confusion we all lived through, where headlines screamed death linked to COVID, when, in reality, Joan from number 7 died from a fall down the stairs and just happened to test positive at the time. COVID didn't push her. We still haven't figured out who did. But because COVID existed somewhere in the timeline, it became part of the headline. And just to be absolutely clear, before the comment section limbers up, this is an example about how statistics are framed, not a debate about whether COVID exists. It does. Unlike ounces, which are still fake. Anyway, GLP-1 medications are being treated in a very similar way. If someone has ever taken Mounjaro, Ozempic, or Wegovy and later dies from an unrelated cause, that death is logged as associated while doctors rule things out. That association then becomes a headline, stripped of context, nuance, and basic explanation. Linked to sounds like a smoking gun. In reality, it often just means present in the background. And when you're talking about millions of people taking a medication, background events are statistically inevitable. People still have heart disease, cancer, accidents, existing conditions. Life does not pause just because someone started a prescription. What matters is causation. And that's what the science actually investigates. Quietly, carefully, without clickbait, unlike the title of this video. But you're here now. Sit down. Millions safely treated doesn't get clicks. What really gets left out, though, is the comparison that actually matters. Obesity causes a significantly increased risk of heart disease, stroke, type 2 diabetes, certain cancers, liver disease, joint degeneration, and reduced life expectancy. These risks are not hypothetical. They are not rare. They are not under investigation. They are established through decades of medical research. We understand the biological mechanisms. We see clear dose-response effects. We see risk increase as obesity increases, and we see risk decrease when obesity is treated. This is causal, not coincidental. And yet we do not get daily headlines saying, obesity causes thousands of preventable deaths every year, because that would require confronting something we have collectively normalized. So when people ask, but what if Mounjaro kills you? The honest answer is this: obesity already does. And statistically, it does so far more often. This is not about pretending medications are risk-free. Nothing is. Not paracetamol, not driving, not doing nothing. This is about understanding relative risk, actual data, and why fear sells better than balance. The real danger is not that people are talking about side effects, it's that they're talking about them without scale, without context, and without acknowledging the proven risks of the alternative at all. And that is the part no headline ever seems interested in finishing. Obesity is one of the strongest predictors of early death we have, and yet no one walks up to people living with obesity and says, "You're going to die." Instead, they say things like, "Just eat less." "No shit, Susan. Just move more." Have you ever tried exercising while carrying the equivalent of an extra human, Simon from the gym? Just have willpower. Fascinating. Because if willpower worked, we simply wouldn't be here. People don't wake up one day and decide to be obese for fun. They don't do it because it's trendy or easy or because they love knee pain and blood tests. They do it because biology, environment, hormones, mental health, trauma, stress, and genetics all exist at the same time, and pretending this is a simple moral failing instead of a complex medical issue hasn't fixed anything yet. It's just made people quieter, sicker, and more ashamed. So when someone says, Mounjaro is dangerous, what they are really saying is, I'm scared because the news is framing Mounjaro as more dangerous than obesity. The fear is real. The framing is wrong. As things currently stand, there's no evidence that Mounjaro, or GLP-1s as a class, is more dangerous than obesity. In fact, the balance of evidence points the other way. Untreated obesity carries a far higher, well-established risk of morbidity and early mortality than GLP-1 medications when used appropriately. For me, the risk calculation looks like this: a medication with known, studied risks, monitored by healthcare professionals, versus a condition with known, studied risks that I was already living with every single day, which, if left untreated, will undoubtedly kill me. One of those things was already actively harming my body. One of them is giving me my life back. So when I say, Mounjaro, you're going to die, I'm not talking about the injection. I'm talking about what happens when we pretend obesity is neutral, benign, or something you can just ignore if it makes you uncomfortable, because doing nothing is also a risk, a very big one. And the most dangerous thing is not Mounjaro. It is pretending that staying exactly as you are is somehow safer than change. And I want to say something carefully here, because this is where things tend to get twisted. There is a lot of body positivity, body neutrality, and self-love messaging online. And a lot of it is genuinely important. Nobody is saying you shouldn't love yourself in the body you're in. Nobody is saying you don't deserve respect, dignity, relationships, joy, or happiness at a larger size. That is not the argument, but somewhere along the way, parts of that message have turned into actively encouraging people to stay unwell, as if choosing to improve your health is somehow a betrayal, as if losing weight is an insult, as if saying, I want to feel better and live longer means you must hate yourself. And I hear this one a lot. My blood tests are fine, so I'm fine. No, you're not. A skydiver without a parachute is technically fine too, right up until the moment they hit the ground. Normal results right now don't cancel out long-term risk. They just mean the consequences haven't arrived yet, and I want to be very clear about something before this gets misunderstood. This is not an advert for Mounjaro. I get nothing out of this. I am not sponsored, affiliated, or trying to convince anyone to take medication. This also isn't a, if you're not on it, you should be video. Some people genuinely do not need medication. Some people can eat less, move more, and feel completely fine doing that. And that's great. Truly. If that's you, this probably isn't your conversation. But some people can't do that. Some people have persistent, intrusive, obsessive thoughts about food that don't switch off with willpower, discipline, or good intentions. I've talked about the reasons for that in a previous video, because it's complicated and it's real. And if that's you, I want you to hear this part. You are not broken. You are not weak. And you are not failing at something everyone else finds easy. Please speak to someone, a general practitioner, a specialist, a dietitian, a therapist, not Simon from the gym. Whoever feels safest to start with. People can help. And help doesn't automatically mean medication. There are many paths forward. But living in constant mental noise around food isn't something you have to just accept. This isn't about pressure. It isn't about comparison. And it isn't about doing what I'm doing. It's about knowing that support exists in whatever form is right for you. Love your body. Save your body. Don't take health advice from TikTok comments or YouTube videos. So yeah, evidence matters. Context matters. And fear is not a substitute for facts. This has been educational. I'm going to lie down now. Okay, bye.